New York. Again, to the old ballet. We are here to the second bit of the trial. And we have our brain just try to kill himself. And we're trying our best to save his bloody soul. What on earth were you playing? A touch just now, or rather? What on earth were you playing at all along? My hypothesis, my amazing hypothesis. You've been picking holes in from the start. Ah, sorry about that. But you promised me. You say you proved that the draft explosion was an accident, no murder. You say you keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands. But all you have done so far is try to undermine me. Yes, I didn't make you a promise, you're right. Say that I believe you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you that I was not a scientist and I understand your hypothesis. In fact, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there? It's full of shit! Ah, but it just run through some equation. Yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete. Perhaps it is, nevertheless, a man died as a accomplice, didn't he? You're right. You're right. It's all my fault. I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster. Not just a scientist, but as a human being. Well, that might be a little over the top, but it's completely correct. You are a piece of a human crap. And while we are on the subject, what about Barak? He's been awful. Claiming his old university friend to be a murderer to me. He's a disaster, not just a prosecutor, but as a human being. But no, wait. He's the Reaper, isn't he? I hope he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore. Jesus Christ, that's, I don't know, toxic almost? Glad that's cleared up. He's not even a human anymore. Can I double check something with you? Oh, yes, what? The machine and the demonstration you prepared, they were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume. There was no trickery involved. I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn the firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it. You gotta believe. Alright, Professor, I understand. You gotta believe. Counsel, defendant. The prosecution witnesses are ready to take the stand. Go to follow the sessions. Make your way to the courtroom. Please stop. Let's go. Go. All hinges on that demonstration. Of course, if the professor hypothesis sound as he claims, leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the bloody victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Jones was adamant. It is not possible. That's not possible. Practical meditation, such as was attempted by the professor at the great exhibition, is quite impossible. Gosh. So what should I be trying to prove? ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Ha! In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby recommend the proceeding of this court. Counsel for the defense prosecution, are you ready for the new witness to testify? The prosecution is ready, my lord. Blah blah blah, this is the defense, my lord. Blah blah blah, okay, the Lord Francisco, okay. I believe these new witnesses of the demonstration of the day in question their own eyes. Indeed, I did, and as the luck will have it, one of them is a police detective. Police detective? Wait, is that him? So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable. Perfect, a detective. The prosecution's stance remains unchallenged. They did under the tragedy demonstration of the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual having present on the stage at the time. The accused. Thank you, counsel. The prosecution position is clear. So bring forward your witness now. Bailiff, show the witness in. The witness, whose proximity of the incident of the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally. Gina? Gina? That is the detective? Witnesses, state your name and occupation for the court to hear. My name, Baldassar Loon. I'm the impressor of the hot air balloons in vicinity of the experimental stage. Robin? Robin? My name is... you really... Wilhelm Gostrick Sigismund Ormst. I don't even know how to say that. My name is... Est? I don't know. Events count the great expansion as a way from Bohemia. Bohemia? I'm very rich. I love it. I love it. The entitled child. Lovely. I'm very rich. Okay. That explains a lot. Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective. Even Ellen James agrees. I was on a security duty on the exhibition. I got out up in one of those balloons. It was amazing. Oh, Gina again. But she didn't mention that she's seen the disaster from opening a balloon, actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it. Love it! There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. Though these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time and saw events unfold from the skies above. Make it sound like they were just in the clouds. It was only an altitude in circa 60 feet, very low. Well, you can't see nothing if you fly high, can you? Can ya? 60 feet, about 18 meters then. Thank you for your introduction. Now you give me your formal testimony for the court. Try to describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of who had a vantage point above the stage. I assume he got hurt, but the question is how. It was an accident. Terrible incident. I'm only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. There's a huge bang from the stage, and at the next second, another bang the sky beside us. And from amidst the maze, I should give it like a really thick German accent, but I'm unable to do it. It was so funny. It was like a child with a man voice with extremely high German voice, like a German soldier or general. And from amidst the maze, a cage appeared out of nowhere. The cage, I cannot do that. Okay, the cage fell from the skyline like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one near if after crashed into the tower. I'm not strongly in collecting account, I must say. Could just clarify something. There's a detail in the witness testimony that I've not heard any mention of until now. Specifically, there were two explosions. More precisely, explosion in 2 separate places. Yes. There were 2 explosions. When demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time. Oh my god, are you kidding me? To be clear. Sorry. Then the power was applied to the machine for the demonstration. The first explosion occurred. The skull cage that contained the victims disappeared from the stage, and a moment later, the explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witness. Wait a moment, you're telling me that he crashed in a balloon? And died. The cage appeared to the side of the extraction window and plummeted down into the crystal tower. Okay. I was very surprised. I don't know how to do it. I need to hear it first. Actually, let me Google it really quickly. Ah, no, it's on blast. Blasty. So I visited a German vowels video or accent thingy, and I realized that I'm so bad at it. So let's just try it out. The blast was so odd, but I didn't want. But miss sing, so I kept, but with the T will be kept with the kept. My eyes wide. That was bad. I steal for lots of money. I love it. It's like saying, I'm here now in this courtroom, but I still have so much money. I still have a lot of money. Precisely with this curious infant? I'm told he's a young noble of the Bohemian Rasputin royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the great exhibition. Kidnapping avoidance. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, in London. How do you say London in German? On a sightseeing trip with my elementary school. No, you don't say also. Skull. I think. I could be wrong. We will have the benefit of the child point of view in the testimony. Do we really need that? When I remove my mask, this is what I look like. Okay. Should I be worried? Oh yes, I see a delightful face, I'm sure. Yeah, everybody says so. Very disguised, though. The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the fact of all the court, namely that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis may successfully demonstrate. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the crystal tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused, who was with Mr. Osborne on the stage, could possibly have committed a murder. Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution view on the matter are quite clear. Okay. So, the defense cross-examination now, please. Yes, my lord. Actually don't even know what to press. What was the point to wearing mask if you're gonna show it anyway? It was an incident terrible damage. There was a huge bang on stage, and the next second, another bang. Hold it! Bang, bang. Okay. So you actually saw things that happened from the upon the air. Yep. Any amazing? The what? Oh my god! I cannot do 3,000 different accent. I'm even better at it. Gets to do the. I'll tell you, other than being a lawyer's mag snake game, you should join the force and we can go flying it together. You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think? Everything! We saw everything, because we were up above it all. And that dodgy cove climbing in a cage, and dodgy professor pulling all them levers. And that's when it happened. That's when there was a massive bang on the cage disappeared, but just like yet. You heard describing the moment of the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe. Do you know what to make of it? When there was another bang right in my ear. Look at rain, there was... Peter. Did he say some Peters? I'm not even sure what he said. Pursue! Master Gots. Does your memory of the day differ? I don't know. Mine, teacher! With the teacher. Teacher? At elementary school, they when you met someone for the first time, you should always use their full name. Oh, yes, what was it again? Willem called Stretch Sigismundi Ormston. Just the full names then? The point is, do you have something to say? No, I'm not gonna even try to say that. Adding response to the Detective General Strad, last remark, perhaps. Oh, get it right, Ori. It is better. Lestrade. Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment? Yeah, everyone! Oh, don't call me by my surname. It's my father's surname, so I'm not my father, so you should call me by my name. I was like, fuck off! I don't even know you! That's not what I saw. Oh? Ja, there was a second explosion. There was right beside their belly. That is true. Va? Which is what to say, ni? What there is nothing there is the matter. Man tycker elementary skulle säga som man säger så spännande. If you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most of a life imaginable. Oh, Bohemian is brought up to be so full of joy. Just before it's I have money. I have more. Just before it says second explosion. But next to our balloon, a clear witness. Witness. A green balloon flying in the sky. A green balloon? You what? Anyway, it's not related. Well, dude, that's right. You can't say it didn't. Welcome play the cussor of a grind and scream. I'm anticipating the truth. I am presuming priest. I cannot say it's a lie. That's not a light. To explain the bleeding royalty card, are you? Typical. Typical. Typical of a royal child to not lie. Say that often would like to remind people who she was for her majesty police. In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your full testimony in the interest, of course, your national relationship between Great Britain and Bohemia. Where's Bohemia? Involves the skies exposed great balloon was ours at the time. So, do I present the thingy? What's called? This, yeah.
Objection!
Mr. Loon, in your testimony, you say that all three of the balloons you have operating at the time were undamaged. See? That is correct. If they have been caught in an explosion, is it Italian? It would have been terrible. I wonder if you might know what this is. Ah, I think it might be. See, part of my balloon, a burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope. Envelope? Sorry, the envelope? Pardon, that is a large round ball, a part of the balloon which becomes filled with hot air. It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want it to rip when you are in the sky. Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as our master god testified. The green balloon did indeed explode that day. Eh? If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Lube, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts standards. As if we give a lonely fudge.
The balloon exploded that day. Why didn't the man say so? Maybe everyone's was killed.
Oh no, having such spit don't want part for the expenditure. Well, hopeful. They said the radio does the crash 50% of that. This spontaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion of the stage, the point of the materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon, causing the balloon to explode. Yes, and eminently plausible. Unfortunately, traffic as you heard about this, it changed nothing about the permitted effects. I think it just blasted as a catapult. Things I cannot accept. Why not, Mr. Loon? You're suggesting that I'm a liar? That person died in a balloon incident? There's no need to get fired out, Mr. Loon. The victim was the sole fatality that day. That's right, and I prove it. I prove it. Buzzer Loon is not a liar. There was no such balloon in the sky. It's not possible. You are saying it is impossible? Why? There was no green balloon, you saying? This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operated that day. Yeah!
Objection!
Yeah! But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this balloon until now. My lord, added to the statement. The defense calls the further testimony from Mr. Loon. I concur there is clearly more to truth here to meet the eyes. It is imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. It's probably hidden. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition. Grazie, my lord. Yeah, he's Italian. And there's so many nationality. It makes almost true that we are actually in Europe. Yes, we are. Europe is like that. For you Americans. As I said about Tars balloon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 2 of my balloons were carrying passengers if they fell to the ground in an explosione. What a catastrophe. Catastrophe. But you can't get away from the fact that the burned up bit cloth that was found at the scene, can ya? The coppers at the yard reckoned it was probably the debris thrown from the explosion the stage. This stupido ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes, anyway. So your assertion is the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you? Sì, exactamente. They don't even try it. Esattamente. If you even saw a balloon in the first place, you don't I like the sound of it. It's very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia. If your daggers we will fight it, if we live war on the war. What? What happened to all our word? Mr. Loon certainly doesn't appear to be lying, but that doesn't change the fact that testimony and evidence are contradictory here. Maybe it was not his balloons. If the defense is unable to find a fault with a witness statement, the court must consider that the truth. The truth! Please think long and hard about my friendo. The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes. No matter what it takes. School may no examination the witness. I don't know why it's laughing tie. Balloon. As I say about earlier, it's not every balloon in Skyland is safely. All three of my balloons were carrying passenger. If they fell on the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe! You can't get away from the fact that burn up a bit of clothes was found on the scene, can you? The coppers in the yard reckon is probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage. These stupid regards of second balloon have been red and blue stripes anyway. So you only have the zigzag? You mean the color is wrong? Si, signor. Si, signor. Si, signore. Do not have any green balloons in my warehouse. I complete the sentence. And yet a piece of green cloth was found on the scene. It is unmistakably for a balloon. Well, I do not know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that the green balloon did explode above the stage. You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. Why not? There have been a recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from the before the Great Exhibition. Huh. That could explode on some early dates, unfortunate, as I'm sure you agree. You believe in may have been some early balloon accident that predates the exhibition? Sì, esattamente. As the signore says, is from one of my balloons. This little... This little ragazzo from Bohemian is mistaken about what he saw. How dare you? How dare you? Is something wrong, Master Goods? Is Master William Gostreich Sigismund or Mainstay? I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even sure if it's correct. It's probably all wrong. I'm so sorry. I apologize. It was on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, something is very wrong, Frank. And what I saw. There's wrong greens balloons there. It's over Bohemian. I can't speak as much bad language you like, but it changes nothing. I believe the child. If you do not have evidence, ragazzo, then I must tell you. Parents to punish, eh? Ragazzo, first thing first, this child, the infant, is probably a bambino rather than ragazzo. Ragazzo is more for a teenager year, so overt. Gina is more considered ragazzo, if you understand what I mean. It's more like a ragazzo is almost on the same level as saying teenager or teen. It doesn't look like a teen. It's more like a kid, child. So bambino. Plus, we let the judge decide when it comes to punishimientos. Evidence for this evidence. To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance, sometimes you prove that what you claim. Well, why didn't they say so sooner? Ever the photograph is here. Good gracious. Nandato? Nandato? Not been abnormal for a little while, but I was very excited. Aha! Yeah, he's very rich. Took a lot of laws for photographs. O the Crystal Tower is a Bohemian X-Wing, is the street of London, is a balloon. And the instant piece of kinetic experiment, you take the picture of that! 9! Yeah, one picture! Really, you did take one? All I wanted was the rise of balloon was not in the some more experimentals. Why are you mixing Japanese? Never mind, I can show us the fucking photograph! Of course, and there you will see. You will see there are more designs. Really, there's a green balloon. Wait, what? Oh, it's black and white. Well, I see you're too shocked to speak. Yes, I think shock is indeed the word, young man. Yeah, perhaps you can all see some green balloon from the photograph, but that's not my fault. They said forceps to be better makes me sick of it. Wow. Even he crying some German. I don't even know where he's Bohemian. Sorry, German. Some notes. I don't. It's some very Bohemian sounding cry. Bohemian sound cry. Very well. The court will accept these photographs of evidence. Well, that is good enough for me. It's not my fault. It's the fault of the camera. Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful... I'm speeding all over the screen, by the way. I'm sure you have plenty of memory. Sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly do you have that? Take that photograph. It's on the day, the big explosion. You don't say. There's a pressure at the release. There was a very loud bang. Then the boom wind rushed over my face. That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion. Well, if you ask me, a black and white photograph changed nothing. I could not give out a flying fig. Wait, what? Lovely language you picking up. A flying fig? As I thought, Mr. Loon testimony just doesn't quite add up. A young bohemian boy claims to have seen an early full balloon. Mr. Malone vehemently denies the possibility. It's hard to imagine a man in charge could be mistaken about the number. And we're there. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something. I'm sure, eh? Actually, want to check the photograph very quickly. What is that? A bullet, a star, and also is this empty? There's nobody. This is the Umbrella Corporation. I'm sorry. It was a reference to Candy, and don't worry about it. Should we wear an umbrella? I don't know. There's not much. Just right before the explosion. This star. Do you notice anything peculiar? My fellow?
Objection!
Unfortunately, the photograph Master Ghost took can't tell us the color of the balloon. But he can tell us something else. Something crucially important. It is empty, right? What? He showed us the picture balloon wasn't carrying any passenger. Oh my goodness, you are right! Yes, I am. Well, surely all the balloons will have been carrying passengers. There will be no sense in it, otherwise. See, they are, for pleasure, for the interview, my balloons only fly with passengers. Which tell us that the picture balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day... there was a full balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. A mysterious green balloon. I know nothing. Niente! I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine. That's a good argument.
Objection!
There are illegal tradesmen everywhere, Captain. Clearly one of such entrepreneurs decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the great exhibition and managed to operate a balloon flies on my saloon patch without him realizing. Sì, the competizione! Competizione! Trying to steal my profits! I did not notice because of the experimento that went wrong on the stage. This fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Osman was beamed from the stage below. Right, so them scraps that fell from the ground there and the left on the scorch marks didn't come from the stage, I think. It was basically raining because no one was in and get no attention. Yes, I guess so. The 04 balloon carrying no passengers silently floating over the
Objection!
Before I show us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader clearly has nothing to do with the case. It is rather does elude me, I must say. The court has been sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. Prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded. Wait, what? Nobody give a fudge? Really? Have you really got to the truth yet? No, we can't let this opportunity slip away. Jurors' minds are made up and not in our favor. I didn't even notice. They seem like don't give a shot about it. There's nothing else in this photo tells. There's nothing more we can learn. There's more! This shooting star!
Objection!
They'll probably blow up the balloon. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait! Please don't give a decision yet. The photo must have gods. Maybe we're hiding one more vital clue. Now understand? Sorry. What? A final clue? Ouch. We're all past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for the I'm sorry. So telecoms. I'm losing my mind. What I said does the alleged clue the balloon owner balloon's color because of the explosion. I hope it's the cause of the explosion. We can reasonably assume the picture balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was not my fault. Yeah, evidently, because the barricade from the kinesis machine metal is the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon being filled with flammable hydrogen is setting it explosively in your
Objection!
No, that's not what happened. What? But it will appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Conservative events will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph to the court. Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. But to show in the link and other piece of evidence we have in a way, it leads an unbelievable conclusion. The clue heavily suggests the real reason the balloon exploded. It's this girl here! It's the Umbrella Corporation. I hope it's that. The time of this photograph will only be described as miraculous. Indeed. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon. Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film. I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort. If you look at this magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear that the nature of this bright line really is. Goodness, what is that? Now there's some flash of light, yes. Oh, Goldie, do you think it might be lightning? Lightning? But it couldn't have been a finer day. Yeah, I believe we may be looking at fire. I pulled the fire. It is straight for the balloon, like an arrow. Indeed, even on my aging eyes, it will appear to be a flame of some sort. My word, are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon?
Objection!
That's absurd. The balloon will have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such height.
Objection!
Oh, the alabaster. Sorry. Actually, it's my opinion. The crossbow, sorry. That particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what did happen. What evidence? If such evidence exists, Counsel, then for goodness sake, present it, man! Man! Chairman explained this mysterious streak of flame that appears to be headed directly for the balloon. This one? Okay, let's examine it just to be so sure. For anything out of place. This one, yeah. Aha! There's some sort of lever here. Aha! 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 Now, what is this? Looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. A bow gun! Fuck you, Will. I think it's probably used for the same thing, too. Well, if you need the screws for that experiment, yeah, whatever. Do I need to examine it even further? Just in case. Looks like your wind is around all the road and bowstring back to the straight tension. Must be able to fire arrows with a huge amount of force using this device, then. In fact, the world magic is far more accurate and powerful than the Japanese longbow. Definitely. I really had no idea what I was picking up when I spotted these on exhibition grounds. You probably pick it up the murder weapon, I believe. Yeah, cool fit, maybe. You think it's the sorry, whatever, I guess.
Take that!
This was found hidden in the foot of a more ornamental tree near the scene. Oh lord, is that a crucible? An arrow deep in an oil satellite could have been shot from this weapon. Sending a flaming arrow straight into that hydrogen-filled balloon. You're suggesting that a crossbow was used to deliberately... Blimey, you're right. The strike flying the lung that photo looks just like an arrow, didn't it? You didn't use the screwdriver? That explosion of the balloon was... It was... Very lighter, sort of flaming arrow from his crossbow running out to the hydrogen carrier said... Why am I reading like that? No! No! Ora, consult this extraordinary supposition. If the aim was to cause a balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's obvious reason why that will have been out of the question. The noise of the discharge, of course. That's right. I use a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently. Well, yeah, if someone had shot a gun over the excavation ground, it would cause a real panic. But with a big explosion, it was a very big panic anyway. No? No? I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a possible new explanation for all this, but something...
Objection!
You understand the implication of what you're saying, my Japanese friend. If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it will have exploded. If the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued... What? Wait a minute! What are you really saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage being up in the sky after all? Or... Whoa. My goodness. Me. Now I understand what I was thinking Phoenix about. There's a good chance. As the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon of all along. What? You just hear that correctly or something. There's no going back now. The horse has bolted. Yeah, I had that feeling too. So high chance the corpse was in here. And assume that I say the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On the stage when the experiment was started, the birdcage in the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At the moment the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, it exploded, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their head. From which spoke the hidden birdcage, then appeared to fall down to crash into the crystal tower. I think you all agree it is entirely plausible. That, what I just described, is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day. This is I good grief!
Objection!
This is ludicrous. What you describe is no science experiment. It's child play, contemplative display of stage magic. Both Mr. Sholmes and Iris say the experiment was a scientific impossibility, in which case this is the only way to explain what happened that day. In any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the crystal tower. If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that? That may pose a word. I'm as a man in magic myself. Such apparent discrepancy can easily be explained by some simple deception. good that one of our jurors have actually magic trickery knowledge. Jurors number 3. All that will be needed is a doppelganger. Someone will look very similar to the victim, Mr. Osmond, and if these other men appear to the stage to front the show as a body double. Oh yes, of course. So in fact, Mr. Osmond must have been inside the wreckage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start.
Objection!
The balloon would have been filled with hydrogen, and the hidden inside would have been scattered to the four winds when it exploded. No one will ever have embarked on such a risky venture. Not necessarily. The explosive force of a balloon gas will very much depend on the mixture ratio. Juror number 4. My balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered. The mixture ratio? Obviously, the victim body will have suffered some burns that will be unavoidable, but not to such extent as to render this whole herb scene charade impossible. So everything that happened can be explained logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was not an accident. It was all part of the elaborate deception to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred. Well, goodness me. If we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Osmond, was never present at the public experimentation stage to begin with. In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant, who was on the stage in full view the entire time. Alright. Yeah, that'll make me even more sinister. This will be very hard for the investigation to counter. But this can credibly maintain the Professor Harvey suspect. Hold it. Let me guess, Albert? Mr. Naruhodo, I appreciate your efforts, thank you. Professor? But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please. Sorry? What's all this about, Mr. Harbrain? I, Albert Harbrain, hereby confess that it is what it was me who stabbed Mr. O.D. Osmond. Yes, it was me, with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver. What are you doing? Ora, ora, ora. Defendant explained his sudden confession. Professor Harbrain, what are you talking about? It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypothesis, my precious machine. You stand there claiming it was all a trick, on a elaborate brag, but where is your proof? No, you have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it will be all over. My beautiful hypothesis will be laid bare. I mean, they did it a bit. Scared that you drew the plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. Barak. Duped? Yes. I'll cooperate, I'll do whatever you say, I swear. So, please, ensure the special dispenser are there to protect my creation. Oh, whatever. You insane balloon. No. It's like, no. Pray forgive the discourse you're filling my hollow chalice at this critical conjuncture. Here's to my learning police friend. What? It is upcoming attempt to clarify the defense position in the light of the accused's confession. You intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick. Because the moment you do, the special dispensation for protects the professor's invention will cease to apply. The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. Yes. However, you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder. Any chance of investigating will be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis is preserved. Yeah, but there's no really point to be preserved if you are dead! Or in prison. Well, counsel, what is the defense official position of this matter? Well, Professor Alba and my client actually asked me. was to prove the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrets of his hypothesis. But there's no way to that implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I uphold my client's request but see him condemned? Either way, I can avoid betraying his trust. Decide long enough isn't talking your trade, my learned friend. Has all knowledge of English escape your confused Nipponese mind? Oh, insult after insult. Mr. Naruhodo. There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. There's a possible one. I have to give up on something, but what? Let's assert that the defendant's instantaneous killing machine was in fact a conjuring trick. Ah! That was... Ah! No, I can't say it. I can't place his fate in me. I can't let him down. What I must give up is not a question you have to ask yourself here. It's what I can protect. Maya? Is that you? No, sorry. Mia? Hello again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long. Mia? So... Sato-san? But what are you? Hiya! Ah! Hiya! Ah! My first Sato take down with 6 swords! There will be no time to talk. There will be time to talk later. Mr. for now, you must concentrate on the task at hand. Which is working out not what I have to give up on, what I can protect. Wait, what? Professor Hairbrain! Yes? Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes, of course. And personally, I believe that you didn't start Mr. Marsman. That you will come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim was questionable. The truth behind that is what we must both pursue now. Ooh, That's the second bottle? Yeet! So you finally open your eyes. What? And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer. Huh? Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say? Barak! Barak! How could you? Lovanzisk. Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought it was a part of my imagination. Gosh, I never heard him speak that way before. In truth, there's one thing, something I remembered, that's of relevance. Relevance? What? On the day it happened, just before I began to experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow. I beg your pardon? Professor? Did the man have any distinguished feature? What did he look like? Like Jack Sparrow? Taller than me, thinner than me, his straight hair, straighter than, and whiter than me. Whiter than mine? Let me see, one less lens than me, to a monocle, a rather stylish black one. One thing in particular will help to possibly identify the man, you see. I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who built my invention. You could just say that, you know? Oh my god. What? He built a machine? That's right, Mr. Asma introduced him to me a year ago. He's the man by the name of Enoch Draper. I don't even know. Draper? Enoch Draper? Does this man mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered. Not a name any center wishes to hear. The man is an abomination. Not name any conjurer wishes to hear either. And conjurer? What on earth is he? I'm afraid this is the first tale of this nature that I heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. It's talk of another flamboyant experiment that turned out to be nothing but a staged trickery in another accident. Obviously the rascal is after the government research grant money. A magician in the need of money have heard of them resorting to these underhand tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Draper's name before. The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with an apparel of confidence. Trickster, yeah? That's Enoch Draper for you. Draper? Sorry, there was another cutscene incident outside. Jesus Christ, I just heard it. I don't know if you heard the crash. It happens so often. They even add the stop sign. Still didn't work. So it's true that my invention, my great machine, was just a ground illusion. Considering what we just heard about Mr. Draper character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely. Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to believe that machine will function exactly as my hypothesis predicted. Which is why you were supposed to be an investigator, I presume. I knew that if the machine was examining details, its crash would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, didn't want it to happen, but at the same time, I knew that if that was found to be nothing more than a trick, then a work of deception, and everything I worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life will be over. I was terrified at the prospect. So you really had no idea then, did you? What the true nature of the machine was built, the true nature of Mr. Draper. I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it. It's entirely possible that Mr. Osman and Mr. Draper were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money. Nice picture. I announced my invention to the crowd so that it was the finest moment of my career. I blew up all the levers, turned all the dials in exactly the way Draper has described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore. We confirm one final point with you, Professor. You know now consent to prosecution to submit the necessary paperwork to raise your invention for the protection afforded by the SD whatever act. Yes, please go ahead. Finish him. I'm very sorry. It will appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now. Lord Van Zisks, my lord, the court has newly been made aware of another party whose involvement in these matters is critical. Yes, Mr. Draper. Got information about the man. If possible, I should like him served with a subopinion. Subopinion? With pleasure, my lord. Now, counsel for the defense. Yes, my lord. When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing, and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused. I understand. Good, in that case, this course adjourned until tomorrow morning. Are we gonna ignore the fact that Susato next to us? I think 6 months. 6 very long months. I think Slanto. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. I'm so sorry. What's wrong? You were right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. And how did you ever come to this? I'm so sorry. You really have no idea, Professor, about what Mr. Draper was really up to. I mean, about what he was really constructing. Yeah, actually. Naturally. The machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis, of my hopes and dreams. I complete faith in it. Alright, in that case I won't say any more. Now certainly the murder accusation against you still stands. Now it's even worse. We must do such an investigation as we can before trial resumes tomorrow. Well, thank you for doing so much for me. I'm sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruhodo. It's such a Capcom's music. Oh wait, it's the same from Monster Hunter? Arriving late. You receive my... It sounds like someone heard of the Monster Hunter. I don't remember the first word. You received my postcard. I wanted to let you know when I arrived. Postcard? What postcard? I hid it from you, Bruno, so it will be a surprise. Well, did it work? Well, surprise, right? Especially when she threw me to the ground. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that I saw you sleep out. Maybe we'll stick to what tradition display of emotion in future? Sleep out, it's just judo move. Let's sleep now. The train was late into London, Victoria, this morning, you see. But you made the coachman really weep the horse's heart, so she didn't miss the whole trial. I was watching for the gallery for a while, but in time I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself. Hiya! I'm glad you... Wait, what? I'm glad you did. Having you at my side in court gives me strength. I need to win. So, I'm, delighted to see you. Back in London. Oh, you're so kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm delighted to be here. I can continue to be your service to you. Of course, so what brought you back? The Professor Mikotoba not protest. Let's save all that conversation for when we are back to home, shall we? You know, I've made one of my most special blends ever for a special occasion. First, how wonderful. I can't wait. Susanna-san was back in London. So to describe how happy that made me feel at the time, but despite my elation, Hotel was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. End of the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you love it. Hope you subscribe. Hope you whatever the hell you I hope. And leave a like. I don't know. Do your thing. And have a lovely day. And still, headaches. Lovely bye.